Good morning, everyone, and a very warm welcome to FICCI's conference on water, sanitation, and waste management, urban perspective. I would like to welcome our distinguished panel present amongst us for this conference. Mr. Prakash Shadrinathan, Executive Director and CEO, Kathari Water Management Private Limited. Ms. Nayantara Nag, Partner Projects, Dry Legal. Mr. Bodhisattva Dasgupta, CTO and Head of Proposals, JWIL Infra Limited. Mr. Mayor Garg, Head Infrastructure Services, Rudra Abhishek Enterprises Limited. The session will be moderated by Mr. Sudeep Sinha, Partner Infrastructure, Deloitte, who himself is an infrastructure expert and will bring his own knowledge and understanding to the table during discussions. Over to you, Mr.
My question to Mr. Garg, who's been working in the sector for so long, as to what are the challenges that you have seen from contractor perspective into the water sector, specifically EPC projects, Mr. Garg?
Yeah. Generally, there are two types of contracts. I would say three: EPC, item rate, and the lump sum contracts, which I've generally come across. I hope I'm audible to everyone.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Yeah, no, especially for the water supply sector that I have been involved with, both in for ADB funded projects, and then in AMRUT and Smart City, and followed by JJM now with third-party inspection and quality monitoring. I find that EPC is not exactly being followed in letter and spirit. It is design, build, and operate. Because in EPC, when we talk about the water supply projects, the state governments tend to fix all the components, that is design all the components, that is starting from transmission, main distribution network, OHSR. You talk about the house service connections, everything is frozen in terms of design, detail drawings, and also quantities. So it's only the water treatment plant which is left out. Or if you say, talk about the sanitation sector, it is only the STP or the wastewater treatment plant which is left out for the contractor to really procure and design the system. And I would say that we found it very difficult to initially to convince the state government to flow with the time and incorporate the latest clauses, or to facilitate the contractor who is coming to execute and also design your system, which is costing as much as more than 200 crores. And initially, they were not prepared to include even advance clause in the contract. They were all thinking that, okay, once he draws the advance, he will run away. So that was one. And then there were issues like sitting over the designs, because as a consultant, we used to send the designs to the client for approval, good for construction drawings also to be approved by the client before those could be issued to the contractor. So those were also some of the difficulties which we found. And they were always running against time. That is, even the designers were put under a lot of stress by the client. Okay, why don't you do it? Why don't you work 24 hours a day? So in that scenario, the designers tend to make more mistakes. Whereas I instructed my designers to take their time and let the pressure come on me, and I'll take the brickbats. So the designer should be at peace while designing a system, and maybe getting best of the quotations from the market or from the trade. And so we had our challenges, and in a given time, we were able to execute and plan 9 water supply schemes in Chhattisgarh very effectively. And item rate, I would say, is not really, it's a very scientific way of tendering, where you take measurements, but basically you are governed more by the rates of the items. So it is generally used for term contract, maybe for defense cantonments or for railways, where you have varieties of items to be executed. And you don't worry about the detailed design or detailed drawings in the beginning. So, and the worst part is that you come to know about the profitability only after the completion of the project. And you have to devote more manpower and skilled manpower, both from the client and from the consultant side, who know how to take measurements and keep a record. So this is not really the end thing. Yeah, for smart cities where you have various kinds of works, like including stormwater drainage, you have the gardens and other green spaces development, and like this. So their item rate can be used. And this is all I have to say to start with. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you so much. We wanted to specifically because again, you've been a veteran in this sector. Wanted to understand, what are your thoughts as to what are the latest technological developments and how do you see digital, and with artificial intelligence, analytics, blockchain, how do you see the landscape of water and wastewater projects changing with the induction of new technology, both conventional technology as well as digital technology coming in the future?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, first I would like to cover the various aspects of the treatment plant and the working of the water supply and sewage systems, which has improved in the last 15 years because of the induction of the new technology. Like in the water treatment plant, now you have dual media filters, you have declining rate of filters, like depending upon how much flow rate you want to treat, or depending upon what is ahead, and you want the continuity of the filtration plant to go on uninterrupted, because in a conventional treatment plant or filter, you have to stop it for backwashing. So in case of disc filter, which is generally used for wastewater treatment plant, you don't have to really stop it. And they work continually for 24 hours, maybe at varying flow rates. That is one. And then you have for treatment of the, say, Nala, like you have this Najafgarh drain in Delhi. Now there is a proposal to treat it using floating wetland treatment technique. That is, you have got a phytoremediation technique. Like you have plants which are immersed and they float like a island in the Nala, and they go on treating. That is, their roots which are submerged in the Nala, they absorb the contaminants and the degradation of the organic matter takes place on their roots. So this is also a new technique which is being used, and I think in the coming months you will see it being used for treatment of this Sahibi River. It used to be called Sahibi River long back, flowing from Haryana to Yamuna, going through Delhi, about 53 kilometers long. That is one. And sequential batch reactor is the same thing now for wastewater treatment plants. I think all over the country it is being used for bigger plants, and DVATs in smaller pockets, like you have where you have huge changes in the ground gradient and you want smaller pockets to be treated at one place. So DVATs techniques are also being used, though it's a very old technique, but this is being used. Then like as you say about for using other forms of technology like IoT and artificial intelligence, I would say that artificial intelligence is more based on optics. So this can be used to find out what is the contaminant in any, like in water, in a water body, and what is the degree of contamination. So that can also be used to increase the effectiveness of the treatment technology. And IoT can also be used for that, for even monitoring your groundwater table depths. And this data, like in a particular state, can also be transmitted all over the district, all over the state using IoT technology. And we do have PLC SCADA system for monitoring our wastewater treatment plants, our water treatment plants, to know the effectiveness of the various treatment units. And I think we have come a long way, and we are using it extensively in all our water supply and wastewater treatment plants and systems. I think there is a big improvement.
Right. Thank you so much, sir. I think, that's very helpful. So I would like to thank all the panelists and FICCI for organizing this webinar. I think